Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are diving into the most crucial parts of your scholarship journey, and that is filling out the application form for Hardiman PhD scholarship at University of Galway. As in my previous video, I have promised you that I'll create a new video. So here is this video in which I'll guide you step by step to fill out the form in order to secure this prestigious scholarship. Whether you are unsure about what information to include or how to best present your achievement, I've got you covered. So like, share and subscribe and save this video on making your application stand out. Okay, so first part, as you can see on my screen, of the application is quite straightforward, and you can see that you have to fill out your basic details, your name, date of birth, your gender, nationality, place of birth, etc., etc. And second part is about your current study and about your education. It is also a straightforward thing to fill out, but make sure to double check this information for accuracy, as even small errors can cause delays or issues later on. So carefully enter all the details that and your personal information that is required. Then move on to your academic history. If you are currently studying and enrolled in any program, so you have to fill out this form about your major subject, completion dates, etc., etc., and your student number as well. Okay, now the third part is please list any academic awards or scholarships that you received. When listing your academic awards or scholarship in your application, it's important to present them in a way that highlights your achievement and demonstrate your potential as a PhD candidate, because we are creating this application form that has a direct link with your PhD you are going to pursue. So you have to highlight your achievement in a connection with the PhD or with the project title of your PhD that you are applying for. I would suggest organizing your awards and scholarship chronologically, starting with the most recent, and be sure to include the name of each award or scholarship, as I have already mentioned, on the form for your ease, to mention the name of the scholarship awarded by whatever the institution will be, and reason like why you get this scholarship and the year of the scholarship. So state it clearly, because as per my experience, the reviewer won't have much time. So as much information as you could give them in a clear way that they can understand very easily, it will be good for your application. For each award, provide a brief explanation of why you received it, focusing on how it reflects your academic excellence and research capabilities or leadership capabilities. It is very important to mention these awards with the lens of your research capabilities. So I would advise to write a brief explanation with the context of the research you are going to pursuing. Okay. Going on, I would also advise to include any relevant detail that highlight the competitiveness of the award. For example, if the award was only given to a small percentage of the students, or if it involved a rigorous selection process, mention this to underscore its significance. So coming on to the next question, that is, please give detail of your research experience. So this question is very, very important, and you have to focus on this question very wisely, because in PhD you are going to do your research. So if you have any previous research experience. Write it over here for your ease. I again write it down, that how it is, how you are going to write it down, that reviewer can review it very easily and can understand it. So if you have done your master's thesis research, give its title here, then institution, the year, what was your role during your research, and definitely the description of your research. So I have given 3 examples. One is for research master's thesis. One is if you have already worked as a research assistant, so you can write it down like that. And if you have done any independent research, so you can mention it over here. But the description is very crucial. Do not write thoroughly, because nobody is going to read that. Just write a brief description of only 4, 5 or maximum 6 lines, which will describe your research project in a very effective way. Okay, the most important part of this question is your publications. So publications are the way of representing your research work. So if you have any kind of publications in terms of articles or journals, mention it, whether you have worked as a first author or if you have a co-authorship in any of the scientific publication, mention it here in the form of bullets or numbers, whatever you want, but along with the working link. It is very important, because nobody is going to search your publication. But if you have given this publication and right click it and link it over here, over here, so it will be easy for the reviewer to just click and cross check that publication belongs to you. Or else, one more thing I'll suggest, if you haven't done it before, create a Google Scholar account and give your Google Scholar link over here, in which you have all of your publications listed. So from this link, reviewer can go to your Google Scholar account and can see about your publications. So this 4th question is very, very crucial. So you have to outline all of your research experience as well as research publications, which will pave the foundation for your for you to getting this PhD scholarship. Okay, now the next question is the 5th question, and it is a detailed question, and this question need to be asked very deeply as well as briefly. So I'll tell you why. Because creating a compelling personal research statement is a very crucial step, because this statement is going to provide you an opportunity to showcase your passion for your research topic, demonstrate your understanding of the field, and highlight why you are ideal candidate for the scholarship and the selected research area. So if you see this question seems to be a one question, but it has asked multiple things in it. So it has sub questions in it, like they have asked about not only your personal research statement as well as your research they have asked about research questions, aims, conceptual framework, methodology, research plan, etc., etc. It also asks about your motivation, as well as choosing the supervisor. So why did you choose that supervisor for your particular area? So it has multiple sub questions, and that need to be answered very wisely. But here one limitation is, which you should have to keep in mind, that they offered you only maximum of 1000 words. So you cannot exceed these words. Some people think that you could exceed these words. According to my experience, no, you don't. You shouldn't exceed 1000 words. Just try to make your application precise, but covered all of these sub questions that have asked in this particular question. I'll tell you how to do that. So let's start. So the most important thing is the title of your proposed research. So when you put the title over here, it is going to showcase that you have the understanding of the work you are going to pursue in your PhD. So state the title first of all, and then the introduction is very important. So what I have done for your ease, that I have broken down these sub questions into the heading, so that you can easily understand how to compile this particular question. And for your ease, I have given some examples over here. Like you can, it's totally up to you whether to follow it or not, but I try to cover as much as possible, so that nothing could be missed, and you cover all of the necessary information that has been asked. So introduction, you have to introduce yourself. Firstly, introduce it by your name. Afterwards, tell about your current designation, like if you are working as a student, or if you are working as a researcher. Mention your designation over here. Also mention the years of experience you have, and the institution name where you gain the experience. So one tip here is that if you put a name of institution here, just keep the link and provide the link, like URL of that particular institution. Again, you have to mention your domain of the work. And also, if you are working on any project, it is important to mention that project as well as the outcome of that project. So if you see in this paragraph of first paragraph introduction, you have covered your current status as well as the project you are working on and the outcome of the project. So it is very precise but detailed as well. Second part of the introduction has your degrees and publication history. Again, I am telling you that because you are creating this application for the PhD and in which you are going to do a research, so compile this application in the context of research. So whatever experience you have, research experience you have during your degrees, in terms of publications, in terms of research thesis, you should have mentioned it very clearly, because it will create a positive impact on your application. So start with your latest degree, and then mention your domain, again institute and year of the completion, as well as if you have done any research. And here I have mentioned reference, like if you have in your masters have any publication, provide a valid reference to that publication, so that if reviewer need to cross check that, they can do that. Also describe the research role in one line only. Again, after that, just mention the number of publication you have, and it is very good if you could give the number, like you have 7 publication or 6 publication or 3 publication, even 1, just give the number as well as Google Scholar link, so that it can be verified. Second thing is to give a background or give a context of your research. So start by clearly stating your research interest and the specific question or problem you want to address during your PhD. Explain why this topic is important to you and how it fits into the broader field of study. This is where you can express your passion for the subject and how you have developed an interest in it over time. So give the context and background of the research you are going to pursue, and also this research should be relevant. This background should be relevant to the title you have proposed over here. Okay, next come to aims and objective. It has also been asked in the question. So clearly outline the aims and objective of your research. As you have seen that I have mentioned it in the form of pointers. You have to clearly outline that what do you hope to achieve through your PhD. Be specific about the outcomes you intend to deliver. This could include developing new theories, creating innovative methodologies, or providing solution to existing problem in your field. So you have to clearly state the objectives. Now here comes the research questions. So defining research question is very important during your research, during creating your PhD this application, because it will define the variables or factor you will be investigating and ensure your questions are aligned with your research objectives and methodology. This is very important, that whatever you are going to mention in your objective, it should be aligned with your research question and later on with your methodology. This helps reviewer understand the direction and purpose of your study, demonstrating that you have thought carefully about what you want to achieve and how you will go about it. Also, there is one advice that instead of asking a broader question like if we can take an example of education domain, that how does this might be one research question, that how does technology impact education, but it is a very broader question, like, so narrow it down to something more focused, like such as how does the use of AI driven tools enhance learning outcome in secondary education, because the technology is also a broader term and education is also a broader term. So you narrow it down, technology in terms of AI driven tools and education in terms of secondary education, particularly secondary education. So narrow down your question instead of asking a broader question. So this is one of the tip I wanted to give you. Okay, so again, write it down in the form of bullets and very clearly and precisely. Then here comes the methodology. So your methodology section should outline the research methods you plan to use to achieve your objective. This might include experimental design, data collection techniques, analytical methods, or any other approaches relevant to your research. Be clear about why you have chosen these methods and how they will help you answer your research questions. So for your ease, I have just created these 5 pointers here so that you can understand that how to outline your methodology again. And I'm reminding you again and again that you have a word count limit of only 1000. So it is important to mention each and everything very precisely, however informatively, so that it will deliver what you are trying to explain. Okay, now here comes this conceptual framework. So you have to define that what this research aim to develop, like write about the framework you are going to develop. This could be a multi-stage research project, and you will divide these stages and write the, as I have mentioned here for your ease, that write the project stages along with proper references, like if you are enhancing any previous work, write it down in the stages you are mentioned and give the proper reference. Bibliography is very, very important. Again, there is one tip for you that showcase a conceptual framework of the proposed project in the form of figure if possible, because as again I told you previously that you have a limit, so it will not only it will not only visualize your concept, but including a well-designed figure can enhance your application, providing a concise overview of a key component and relationships within your project. So for as an example, I have created this figure for you. If you can see that, I'll enhance it for you. Like you can see, this is a kind of example. You can take and design the image as required. Like here is a data collection which will lead to data cleaning and data pre-processing, and then I have created this conceptual framework in the context of machine learning. So feature extraction, model training, model evaluation, then hyperparameter tuning, performance analysis, and final evaluation. So this, because you have a very little word count, it is important if you visualize your conceptual framework. It will be easy for the reviewer to have an understanding what you are going to do in your PhD. Okay, next is the research plan. Here you have to create a research plan which should be aligned with your methodology. So in this section you have to provide a brief overview of your research plan. This could include a timeline of the key stages of your research. Again, it is that key stages will be that you have already mentioned in your methodology, like literature review, data collection, etc., and demonstrating that you have a realistic and well thought out plan will show that you are prepared for the challenges of the PhD. I highly recommend creating a timeline as a chart. Again, this visual approach not only saves on word count but also gives a clear, concise picture of your research timeline. It helps the reviewer quickly understand your plan and shows that you have thought thorough the entire process. So again, for your ease, I have created a research timeline for you to have an example, so you can see that this research timeline covers each and everything. It's a simple research timeline, split it into nearly 36 months time period and covered from literature review to Viva preparation and defense. So you can break down all your methodology in the form of this chart, and these bars highlight the timeline. Like data collection will start in the 4th month and will end it nearly in the 12th month. So this is this picture gives a complete picture of your timeline to the reviewers, and it will be really you can say good for them to understand. Okay, next is the significance of your work. So it is important to position your research within the context of existing studies. So explain how your work will build on, challenge or extend current knowledge in your field. This shows that you are aware of the research landscape and understand how your project will contribute to it. So significance is very important. Discuss the impact of your research in future, as well as the last thing which I'll give you as a tip, that how this research will attract the student at University of Galway. So if you mention it in one line, it will also impact your application. Okay, now the next pointer is the motivation of pursuing the PhD. Here you describe your motivation, discuss your long-term career goals, and how completing this PhD will help you achieve them. So this is this part is where you can convey your commitment and your ambition toward this research. So it is very important to write down your motivation in 3-4 lines. The next thing is write about the school in which you are applying, as well as supervisor. So again, here I have created a sample for you. So here you can tell something about the school. For example, if you are applying in School of Engineering or School of Medicine, wherever it will be, so you should have to research about it, and then mention your specific field or discipline, and then you should describe the strength of your school, so that reviewer have the idea that you have researched a little bit about where you are applying for. Next, you have to, as already mentioned in the question, you have to tell about the supervisor. So you have to mention the name of your supervisor with which you are going to work on. Again, mention the specific area of research he or she is specialized in. Like if he is working on machine learning, or in education, or renewable energy, or molecular biology, whatever the domain your supervisor is working on. Again, explain the track record of your supervisor research, as well as how his or her expertise directly align with your research interest. So it is very important to mention this part in writing about supervisor. Okay, the next thing is suitability for the research program. Finally, explain why you are particularly suited for this research program. Highlight any relevant skills or experience or achievement that make you a strong candidate, and this could include previous research experience, technical skill, or academic accomplishments. So highlight here so that you could stand out from the other candidates. Next, if you have any tools in your head you are going to use during this research, mention these tools in the form of bullets, as well as the data sets. If you have in your head any data set you are going to working on, mention those data set along with the proper working URL. Last thing is the references, and these references will be attached at the end of the document. Means when this application has been ended, I'll show you there. At that point you will put the bibliography there. Okay, so the next question, which is the sixth question here, is to provide any other relevant information. This could be any relevant information which could enhance your application related to the research you are going to pursue in your PhD. So you can discuss either your current employment, discuss any ongoing project, collaborations, presentations, attending any workshops, any volunteer work, anything you can provide that is relevant to your PhD research. You can also highlight your current work or research that influenced your proposed project. The next question is to insert your CV, which is a maximum of 2 pages. So again, I have created a sample CV for you, and try to cover as much things as are required relevant to this application. It's totally up to you, follow it or not. So first of all, in your CV, write your name, give a short summary. Again, as I mentioned in the fifth question, how to introduce yourself. So in summary, introduce yourself. Then write your education. Just keep this thing in mind that all of this data has already been written in this application form. So be very precise, because it is a repetition. Again, you have already mentioned your education, your professional experience, so just be precise in that. So you can create a table and just mention your education of your master's, bachelor's, or high school degree over here. Then your professional experience, you can mention the company or institute name, your designation, and year of the work. And then these are the key headings in which you can cover your resume. So if you have designed any project in terms of development and deployment, mention it here very precisely. Again, if you have taken any courses, whether to enhance the learning in your domain, or whether as a teaching assistant, mention those courses here. If you have volunteered in anything, mention over here. Workshop and seminars are very important to mention, again because it has a direct link with the research. So highlight the workshops and seminars if you have attended any. The next pointer is also very important. If you have worked as a researcher, previously worked as researcher or a teaching assistant, and you have been a part of any curriculum design or course design or delivery, just mention those courses over here very precisely and very precisely and very briefly, so that the reviewer have a quick information that you have been a part of research previously. If you have get any scholarships, mention here, and skill set in which your skill set you are your expertise, so mention your skill set over here. So this is a very quick CV or resume which can be created in a very efficient way to cover all of the perspective that is relevant to the research of you're going to do during your PhD. Okay, now the 8th question, post PhD supervisor at University of Galway. So the question is that, have you contacted this supervisor to discuss your PhD research plan? And this should be yes, because if your supervisor is not agreed, you cannot proceed with the application. So this should be the yes here. Again, there are a few pointers that need to be completed. So they are telling you that the supervisor form is available on their website, which I have already mentioned in my previous video. You can see it from there. So you need to send the supervisor form to the supervisor to be filled and to be signed and submitted by the time mentioned on this form. So this is the last year form, so this will be the new time for you, and you should make sure that your supervisor submit the form before time. Also, you have to provide the contact details of your supervisor in terms of name and his or her email. Okay, now here comes the 9th question, which is the academic references. So you have to provide 2 academic references, and again I suggest you to provide one from your bachelor's degree and one from your master's degree. These supervisor the referee forms also need to be separately sent to your referees. They should fill them, sign them, and submit them to this email address before the mentioned time over here. So this is again the last year time. This will be the new time over here mentioned, and you should make sure that these referees forms should be submitted before time. The next 10th question is that this is the question of disability. If you have any disability, you should tick yes, and if you do not have any disability, just tick no. And 10.1, 2 and 3 is regarding to the disability. So if you have tick yes in the 10th question, just go ahead with these questions. Otherwise there is no need to answer these questions. The question number 11 is, if you wish to become for other PhD scholarships, if available, you are advised to submit a separate application to these. So if you are concurrently applying for any other PhD scholarships, so you need to submit a separate application form for them. And last question is, where did you hear about Hardiman PhD scholarships? So you have to tick any of these check boxes from which you have learn about Hardiman PhD scholarship. And if it is not in these check boxes, you can write over here from where you have heard about the scholarship. Okay, so again they are telling you that it is your responsibility to ensure that the proposed supervisors submit the completed form, the supervisor form, and referees to complete the academic reference form to send them to this email address. So again, this is a reminder, this is your responsibility to do that. So now the last thing is the declaration. You have to sign it here and put the date in which you are going to submit it. And how to submit this application, they tell you that you need to save this application form in PDF form, include the full name in the file name. So if your name is Bob Brown, so you need to save this application form as Bob Brown dash application in the PDF format and send that form to hrscholar@nuigalway.ie. So it is very important to save your application in your own name with dash application in the PDF format. Okay, the last thing is English language requirement. I have already discussed in my previous video. If you wanted to look at that video, you will have the quick overview of the English language requirement if you are a non-native English speaker. And the last thing here which I wanted to mention is the bibliography. So bibliography is basically all the citations and references you are going to create in your document, and this should be placed by the end of your document. So this is all from today. I hope you liked the video. If you like the video, please share, subscribe to my channel so that you can have more information and you won't miss out anything. Thanks very much. See you. Bye.